Before I start discussing why I think Andrew Garfield is far superior to the character of Spider-Man than Tom is, I don't hate the actor or his portrayal, but I just wanted to talk about why he isn't as great as the second web slinger. Hi, I'm the Film Nerd. I'm just going to say what most people have been already saying, but Andrew's films has been or still is one of the most overhated comic book movies. Like if there weren't any worst films, while yes there are some flaws like the pacing and villains, I feel like there are some aspects and elements fans have overlooked over the years, so today I want to go over those. The thing I've sort of found weird about Tom's Spidey is they skip to the origin story. I mean, yes, there is a brief moment in Captain America Civil War where he discusses being bit by a spider and talks about his Uncle Ben being murdered, which seems like it doesn't really matter because the movie acts like he never really existed. Andrew's films, on the other hand, do follow the comic route. I understand that nobody wants to see the same thing happen again since everyone already knows the story so well. But Mark Webb's take on the origin goes in deep, with great extent like Peter's parents' story, a different spider bite sequence and Uncle Ben's murder, which has great acting.
Call an ambulance! Someone call an ambulance!
Sure, it's a little deviant, but I really appreciate how they follow the comic story and adding some new traits. I never really understood why people always thought Andrew's Peter wasn't nerdy enough and instead was more like a cool type character. Yeah, cool. If you ask me who was a nerd in high school and a social outcast, his portrayal of a nerd is the most realistic I've seen in a movie or show. He gets bullied, but it's not over-exaggerated. He doesn't really have friends and perfectly captures the way an awkward teen talks or acts. According to Mark Webb, Andrew created a dynamic where Peter is always wobbling around, being twitchy, not being comfortable all the time. If you look at the scene with Gwen and Peter at the end, you can see he was very still and focused, which is a nice progression to his character. I don't know about you guys, but that's great acting. Sure, Tom is a great Peter Parker with his awkwardness and stuttering. He doesn't really capture what it means to be like him, instead he makes it look stereotypical and cliché. I also love how they gave Andrew's character confidence before he even became Spider-Man. Speaking of Spider-Man, if you didn't like Andrew because he wasn't comic accurate, then I'm sure you have to like his Spider-Man. His Spider-Man had everything: quips, heart, heroism, while Tom does spit out excellently timed one-liners and yet maintain his wow, did that just happen teenage personality like they do in other films. I still do think his character doesn't feel like what Spider-Man is known for, like independence and being responsible.
That, are you?
No, I can't.
Why not?
Because I have too much of a responsibility.
What I love most about the Amazing Spider-Man movies is the character arcs and love chemistry, like for example, the Flash Thompson in Andrew's films are probably the best Flash we've had. He was realistic and scary, and not only they gave us a perfect bully, but they also gave him some character development and heart.
Coming along, man.
Which really brings me a smile. While yes, I did like Flash in Tom Holland's film, he felt more like a rival character with no development or arcs. Uncle Ben and Aunt May were good in the films as well. Ben was a chill, relatable old dude, and May was a sweet, overprotective aunt who cares about her nephew.
These are my bowling trophies.
Oh, well then, by all means, please leave that filthy box in my kitchen.
What happened to you?
It fell.
And finally, the best thing about this version of Spider-Man is the lovely chemistry between Peter and Gwen. I mean, sure, it did feel rushed why she found out he was Spider-Man, but you're not going to tell me they had an amazing relationship out of the three. It was deep, real, natural, and really shows that Gwen was in love with Peter Parker rather than Spider-Man. Their romance arc really had a great depth and acting. No offense, I really did love Peter and MJ chemistry in the MCU, along with Peter and MJ in the Sam Raimi universe. But Mark Webb's take on the story was by far the best one, which makes the ending in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 so sad. After losing the one thing he loved the most, and yet again goes through the pain he had felt before, he decided to hold on and embody hope itself to be greater than suffering and overcoming the darkest moments. In the end, we all have our favorite Spider-Mans, and that's okay, but we should all respect every other portrayal and others' opinions. Each Spider-Man has their own take on the character and made them unforgettable. That's what matters the most. To show that everyone has their own Spider-Man, and I'm glad we got a masterpiece of a film to show that.